Okay, so we finished up the last section. We're talking about Boolean functions. Now we're going to help you understand the parameters versus the argument and understanding the difference between the two. So if you're new to this channel and you would like to follow along in the curriculum, it's a free curriculum. All you have to do is click the link in the description. You don't have to register for anything. Well, you can subscribe and turn on the notification bell for this channel if you want to continue to get the updates for the videos that I am putting out on this curriculum, helping you to learn coding and programming. And this is just the first unit. We got another unit coming up once we finish with the JavaScript. So without further ado, we're going to get into the section so we can finish up this section. Okay, so here we go. Parameters and arguments. Over the past few sections, we introduced two functions related concepts that are very similar and are often confusing to distinguish: arguments and parameters. The difference between the two is subtle, so we will attempt to clear that up now. The easiest way to talk about the difference between arguments and parameters is by referring to an example. Here we have the function hello. Takes a single value, which we expect to be a person's name, and returns a message that greets the person. Here we go. Function hello, name is the parameter, and we're returning a template literal with string, and we're passing in name, the variable, because remember, in the template literal you have to use the $, curly braces with the variable on the inside. And then we console.log hello Lamar, and then here's the output, hello Lamar. In this example, name is a parameter. It is part of the function's definition. Remember what I said, a clue to help you understand the difference between a parameter and argument is that it's a part of the definition. So when I'm defining a function and using that function keyword, I know that if I see something inside of the parentheses, it is a parameter. Now the value Lamar that is used when we invoke the function on line 5 is an argument. It is a specific value that is used during the function call. The difference between a parameter and an argument is the same as that between a variable and a value. A variable refers to a specific value, just like a parameter refers to a specific argument when a function is called. Like a value and argument, it's a concrete piece of data. So understand what we're saying. Remember, whatever you place in here as a parameter, you can also use it like a variable. That means you can store things in it. It's a container, but it's only local. The scope is local only to the function. Arguments are optional though. A function may be defined within several parameters or with no parameters at all. Even if a function is defined with parameters, JavaScript will not complain if the function is called without specifying the value of each parameter, like right here. But notice what happened. It's undefined. Even if I was to go ahead and just call this, which let's do that. Let's see what happens if I call it without using console.log. So let's go over here. Oh, that's the console right there. And then I'm going to, where are we at? I am going to copy that in, paste it in, and do that. Now if I run it, it's going to say hello undefined. So now let's play around with it for a second. And let's remove the console.log and just do hello. Invoke the function that way. There you go. It still does it. But now you may notice something else familiar or peculiar, that it has quotes around it, like a string, because it is a string. So look at these little small subtle differences to understand how it works. But it's undefined because, where am I at? It's undefined because I did not give it an argument. I left it empty. We define hello to have one parameter, name. when calling it. Sorry about that. When calling it, however, we did not provide any arguments. Regardless, the program ran without error. It didn't give us an error. Arguments are optional when calling a function. When a function is called without specifying a full set of arguments, any parameters that are left without values will have the value undefined. Because remember, undefined is a primitive data type. It's still a data type. If your function will not work properly without one or more of its parameters defined, then you should define a default value for these parameters. The default value can be provided next to the parameter's name after the equal sign or the assignment operator. So this is what it looks like. We have this function that we created called or defined as hello, and we're passing it a name. If for some reason you don't pass it an argument, by default it's just going to put world, the default string. So you can do that in your program. So understand, when we ask you to define the function and give the parameter a default value, this is what we mean. Make sure you play around to get an understanding, try different things. While this may seem new, we have already seen a function that allows for some arguments to be omitted. The string method slice. The string method slice allows the second argument to be left off. When this happens, the method behaves as if the value of the second argument is the length of the string. So as you know, you can play around with that method. Just as it is possible to call a function with fewer arguments than it has parameters, we can also call a function with more arguments than it has parameters. In this case, such parameters are not available as a named variable. This example calls hello with 2 arguments, even though it is defined with only 1 parameter. And it says what? Hello Jim McKelvey. But all it printed was hello Jim. It left off McKelvey. Fun fact, these extra arguments can still be accessed using a special object named arguments, which is made available to every function. If you are curious, read more at MDN. However, we will not need to use this advanced JavaScript feature in this course. Check your understanding, and this is the end of this section. Quite a few videos, but I believe they're very needed, because this section, along when we get into objects, can be very confusing. So take your time. Do not negate the process. Follow the process and go back and refresh your memory over the things that you learned up until this point. It's only going to help you. As we go along, I will reference some things to kind of help jog your memory and say, oh, that's right. That's the rule. That's the principle. We're just laying the foundation. We got more to come. So again, remember, the more you do, the more you improve. See you in the next section.